Morning, Highland High School choirs. Today is Tuesday morning, March 24th, 2020. This is our 9th day of not having school because of the COVID virus. I'm here at Ken Cleveland Park. Why Ken Cleveland Park? I picked it because it's got a guy's name on it, Ken Cleveland. And whenever I see a name that's famous, I always wonder, did they have siblings? And were those siblings famous? Sometimes that happens where you might have some people who are famous and then there are siblings who didn't make it as big. And that happens in the music world too. Now, first of all, like Cleveland. Was he related to other famous Clevelands? Like, do you know the name of the man who founded the city of Cleveland? Do you know his first name? You guessed it, Moses Cleveland. Well, how about the 22nd President of the United States, Cleveland? Do you remember which one that is? You're right, Grover Cleveland. There, that's the cross-curricular part of today's lesson, going into other... Anyway, that happens in the music world too, doesn't it? You know, when you know of a famous musician, chances are they didn't grow up in isolation where they were the only musician in the family. Sometimes they were family members that were musicians. And some are famous, and then some not so famous. Well, I'm going to share 3 names with you of composers, and they had siblings who were also composers, but they just didn't make it to the same amount of fame. Mozart, Brahms, and Mendelssohn. Now, you actually know music from each of them. I'm going to do Brahms first. You know Brahms' Lullaby. In German, it's a Wiegenlied, cradle song. That was Brahms. He had a brother, Fritz Brahms. And Fritz Brahms was also a musician, but just didn't make it as famous. He eventually became a piano teacher and did well, but he just was regarded as maybe not as good as his brother. In fact, even during their lifetime, when someone referred to Fritz Brahms, they referred to him as the wrong Brahms. Yikes, that's awful. I shared that one first because the other 2 are much more wonderful. Mendelssohn. You know Mendelssohn because of the Wedding March. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. That's Mendelssohn, and it's called Wedding March. Yeah, he wrote it for Shakespeare, Midsummer Night's Dream. That's Mendelssohn. Well, he had an older sister, Fanny Mendelssohn. She was awesome as well, and the 2 of them, when they were younger, same education, but same fame, regarded as both wonderful and fantastic. But as she got older, that was the time back then where you didn't pursue a career as a woman. You got married and had kids, and that's what she did. But they both loved each other's music, and he even published some of her stuff under his name because you couldn't have a female published composer then. In fact, there's even a story once where someone mentioned someone important, I can't remember who it was, mentioned, oh, this is my favorite Mendelssohn piece. And it wasn't his, it was his sister's that he published under her name. They still regarded each other very highly and enjoyed each other very much. So that's Felix and Fanny Mendelssohn. And finally, Mozart. If you heard a story about, oh, there was this young Mozart who was a prodigy playing piano and just taking the world by storm, that was true, but it was first said about Mozart's older sister, Anna Marie. She was the prodigy, and then along came Mozart and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Amadeus, and he became famous too. But they loved each other and they enjoyed each other, and he complimented her compositions and encouraged her to keep composing, and they had a great relationship. There was no rivalry there. So those are the 3 musicians and their siblings. That's something that I would like you to remember. You can go to the Google form and fill that out. How does that apply to us right now during our COVID-19 time? I would say this. If you ever think, man, I wish I were more famous. I wish I were more, I wish I were considered best in this, or first place in this, or top 10 of this. Those things are cool. But I hope you know that just like with famous composers who have siblings that are also wonderful and enjoyed, that even if you don't get the awards and the fame, you're at the top of someone's list in a really good way. And I hope you come to realize that. Hope we get to see you again soon.